Cover Killer Nation, it's time for me to revive an old series. Yeah, the Cover Killer Concert Review. This is something that I used to do, well, quite often, back whenever I was going to a lot of shows. This is the first time that we're going to have one of these since February, whenever I went to see Immortal and Absu. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about Mayhem Fest 2011, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's actually Burgettstown, but Pittsburgh's close enough. Now, of course, if you're unfamiliar with the Mayhem Festival, this is a way to spotlight a number of different bands, similar to an Ozfest, only different sponsor, and you don't have to deal with Ozzy's ego. All joking aside, let's jump right into this because there's a lot of bands to talk about. The way they were able to set this up is that there were two side stages, one main stage, and with the two side stages, they were able to coordinate it where while one band was playing on one stage, on the other stage, the next band for that stage was getting set up. So it actually worked out where if you were to abandon all food and drink, you could see each and every band with actually a little bit of overlap somewhat. Maybe you'd miss the opening, hi, how you doing? First band I actually saw was Straight Line Stitch. This was the only female-fronted band of the afternoon/evening, and this isn't too bad. This wasn't too terrible. It was a little generic for me, but at the same time, I have to give them a lot of props for what they do. They're one of these bands that really try hard, and they give it their all. They're still kind of small time, so you have to understand that kind of kicking this whole thing off, they had to get the crowd going, which they did. So you have to give them a lot of credit for that. I would say if I were to have to rank it, I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. Not too bad, but at the same time, not exactly 100% my cup of tea. That brings us to our second band and my sleeper band of the day. Yeah, early in the day, I was immediately blown away, and that was by the band Red Fang. Most of you out there probably know Red Fang. A lot of you probably do not. And for me, this was my first Red Fang experience, so it was something that I was like a virgin, and my cherry was getting popped, or I was fucking a girl for the first time. This was my first experience with Red Fang, and it was an amazing experience. This is a very, very good band. This is a band that is very low-key, very funny, you know, really cheeky. Obviously, they really embrace the lifestyle of booze, of weed, and the music certainly reflects that. This is really nice stoner sludge. It kind of gives you a Mastodon vibe. It kind of gives you a Baroness vibe. I would love to see a tour with Mastodon, Red Fang, and Baroness, with perhaps a special guest from a band such as Kiss Lives. That'd be just amazing. I would really enjoy that. So, if they're out there, please get this happening. Really great band. It's to the point where I purchased one of their albums whenever I was there, Murder the Mountains. I picked it up. Something that's available in my store, but hey, something that I now own thanks to the band themselves. Up next for me was All Shall Perish. Now, of course, many of you guys remember that All Shall Perish, or somebody who we thought was All Shall Perish, commented on my All Shall Perish review, and I was wondering if that was them. First off, their show was very well done. They were able to blend a little bit of the old, but focused a lot on the new record in the time in which they were given. A lot of intensity, a lot of hardcore growling, a lot of hardcore just brutality. Very, very good. This is something where the crowd was really eating this up. They were loving the new material, so gotta give these guys all the props in the world, 100%. After that, I went to actually see them and meet them and have my ticket signed a little bit later on, and it was them that viewed the video. I've been called a critical motherfucker, and I've been told to keep up the good work. All Shall Perish. You guys are a fantastic band live. You guys keep up the awesome work, and I will keep reviewing, and I will continue to support you guys whenever you guys come to town. Kingdom of Sorrow would have been up next. However, Kingdom of Sorrow and Suicide Silence I pretty much missed because of a beer break. 100%. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I'm sure Kingdom of Sorrow was probably pretty good, and this is kind of like a fill in the blanks where you guys tell me. I caught the tail end of Suicide Silence while I was waiting in line to meet All Shall Perish. It basically sounds like Suicide Silence. I know a lot of fans are really going to warm up to this band and really enjoy their set and say that they loved it. I viewed it from a distance, so I really can't be overly critical on it, but this is a band where my opinion on them is about average, so I'm probably the wrong person to speak about it anyway, so we're going to leave it at that. Unearth was next for me that I actually saw from front to back, and this was a very, very good performance by the boys. I was very excited to see these guys again, and they certainly did not disappoint. They were able to blend songs from the old and the new, as I've been saying with a lot of these bands, because a lot of these bands, if you notice, have just released new records. Unearth is one of them, All Shall Perish is one of them, and a couple of the bands that we're going to speak about later are also ones of them, and they were able to blend this very well, and that is something that I consistently appreciate about bands today, where they're able to blend the old and the new, keep the old fans happy, but focus in on your new stuff. That way, the new breed of fans that maybe you got from it, as well as the old fans that enjoy it, really start to fall in love with these songs, and they become crowd favorites. Next up, next up was Machine Head, and here you go. You're talking your 5-star experience of the night. This was a fantastic set. It was a little loud, I will say, and I'm not saying that like, ow, my ears. I'm saying that the mix seemed to be a little bit tuned up a little bit too high, because it started to cut out a little bit at certain spots, but for the most part, this was spot on. They really did a great job, and they focused on some tracks from The Blackening. They, of course, debuted in Pittsburgh the new song Locust, and they also went backwards a little bit. Played songs such as Aesthetics of Hate, played songs such as Halo. It was a terrific experience. It started to rain a little bit whenever they were playing Halo. Magical experience right there, very eerie, because it really started to pick up whenever it hit a very calm segment of the song. Really cool. After that, we have the one and only In Flames. Now, this is where I'm kind of teetering a little bit. The band themselves sounded very good, but it just seemed to me like the energy level for this band was not there. And that's something that was semi-disappointing to me. However, there's a number of different things that could have happened to cause this. I heard that they were running late. I heard that because of the rain, the stage got extremely slick, which made it a little bit dangerous for the guys with all the wires, the cords, and everything going around. Plus, it was a very small stage, a very confined area for these guys. However, musically, it was a very tight set, and they were also able to do what I said and blend the old with the new. They brought back the Hive from the Horacle album. Definitely loved that experience. And I gotta say, I enjoyed listening to the new songs live as well. In fact, even Deliver Us, the single that I pretty much panned as every other In Flames song I ever heard in the 2000s, sounded really good live. So I guess I got to eat my words a little bit there. Trivium, they sounded good from afar, but I was too busy stuffing my fat ass. Yeah, I needed a food break. It was right around dinner time. And like I said, they sounded good from afar. From what I hear, they debuted a new song, so this is another fill in the blanks for you guys. Up next, though, we have Megadeth, and Megadeth is always an experience. This is my third time seeing these guys, and it was another excellent experience because they actually focused a lot on the old stuff, a ton on the older material, the Elder Scrolls of Megadeth, songs such as Peace Sells, songs such as Wake Up Dead, songs such as, for example, Hangar 18. I just drew a total and complete blank right there. That was amusingly hilarious. The only complaint I have, though, about this set was that Dave's vocals were turned down ridiculously low. The mix on that was pretty bad, to the point where whenever Dave was speaking to the crowd, you could not hear him, and that was a little bit distracting and kind of disappointing as well, because I always like to hear what Dave has to say, because it's always pretty interesting. He's always very very thankful and very grateful for the people that come out to support Megadeth after all these years. Which, of course, brings us to Godsmack. This is my first Godsmack experience, which is amazing considering the number of Ozfests and different festivals of this nature that I've been to. This is the first time I've seen this band, so I didn't know if I was going to like it, if I was going to hate it. I actually really enjoyed this a lot. This was really cool. Solly Erna is a funny motherfucker live, not to mention the band themselves is very well tuned together. And that is something that I enjoy, and I have to look aside from the fact that the set list is basically just a spattering of their greatest hits put together in whatever order that they decide and determine that they're going to do it in. I have to look away from that, act like that's not even an issue, because it really isn't. The focus is on the music, and the music was performed very well. Got to give them a lot of props. Then we make it to our headliners of the evening, Disturbed. First off, a backstory. I saw Disturbed at a Ozfest a number of years ago and was not impressed whatsoever. David Draymond's vocals were terrible. The band seemed really off-balanced, off-kilter. Dave was shouting obscenities to the crowd. He was pissed off because people were flipping him off as opposed to giving them their horns. Obviously telling him that this was an off night and they were really fucking terrible. So this was redemption time for Disturbed. And they kind of delivered, but they kind of didn't. The band was on par, if not above par. They definitely really tuned things up a little bit of notch. I'm inventing new phrases. They definitely tuned it up a notch, and they really impressed me there. There is a strong dynamisy there between the members, but still, David's vocals are really just becoming obscene to me, like to the point where I just don't know what to think. I think the reason why I'm never excited whenever Disturbed comes to town is for that reason, and that reason alone. It's extremely inconsistent. They were very, very shaky. There are moments where he really is good, and there are other moments where he was just flat out terrible, and it seems to me where the moments where he was struggling the most were on the higher register. It seemed like that high register for him, especially with those grunts and squeals that he sometimes emits, is really starting to go a little bit, and that, I think, is just coming from age. They did play a nice medley of songs from The Sickness and a couple of their other albums, but they really focused on The Sickness with this set, and which is odd because it's not like a 10th anniversary or anything like that, but they really focused on this album, and the crowd got really hyped up for it. They enjoyed that, which I don't know what that really means. That's something where you guys have to fill in the blanks of what you think that means, but I enjoyed hearing a lot of those older songs. So did they redeem themselves? Not really, but was it an experience that was kind of worth it? Yeah, mainly because the other bands really gave me enough bang for my buck where I feel like I did not, spend money falsely. Overall, Mayhem 2011 was a lot of fun. If you're on the fence on whether or not you want to go to this show, don't waver any longer. Get the ticket and go. It's a fantastic experience. Everybody that you meet there is really cool, and the bands are all willing to meet and greet with you and just have a fucking awesome time. Just do it, man. I had fun. You'll have fun. It was a great time. Long live fucking metal, and I'll talk to you guys later.